the Time is Money show with your illustrious hosts, Dr. Travis Perry and Mr. Always Good. Today, when we're just 1 week away from Thanksgiving, we are talking about an attitude of gratitude. No one better to kick this off than Dr. Travis Perry himself. Take it away.
Thanks, Melanie. And thank you, everybody, for being here, for following us on this fun journey as we've tried to provide value to you right during the middle of a Monday workday. You know, a gratitude, an attitude of gratitude is imperative. I think a lot of success in my life has come when I have just been more grateful. And I remember having this discussion and a mentor of mine giving me some great advice about this. And he actually said, you know, if you can't find anything to be grateful for, then pick up a pencil. And at the end of the pencil, realize that there's something that you can write with. You can get your words out. You can talk to people. You can write letters, notes, whatever, with the end of this pencil. And so on the other end is an eraser. Be grateful for this eraser. The end of this eraser allows you to take back mistakes, take back some of the words that you didn't mean, right the wrongs of the previous day, whatever. And I thought, what a great symbol of being grateful. Obviously, this is the time of year where we're focused on gratitude, giving back, sponsoring events, helping people in need, and being grateful for the prosperity that we all enjoy. This is the Time is Money show where we're talking about time is money. So we're grateful for the time we spend. We're grateful for the money that comes in for either of these projects that we're all working on. Sorry about the introduction or the interruption. And so I'm grateful for people that try to interrupt me because that means they love me and care about me. But I think just having that attitude that flows throughout our day, people love you because of it. They want to be around you. They want to be a part of what you're doing. So thank you, audience, for following us and listening to us. Joe, I'm curious, what does an attitude of gratitude look like in sales? Is there such thing? Does gratitude exist in sales, or is it just trying to conquer the world?
That is a great question. I'm glad you asked it, Travis, but it almost made me laugh a little on the inside. I was chuckling away because yes is the simple answer. The attitude of gratitude does exist in sales, and the most successful salespeople have it every single day. They're grateful for every opportunity they get, every person they speak to. They're grateful for the 30 seconds they have with them, the hour, the whatever it is. They're grateful for the opportunity to help them solve a problem. And they're even grateful for the people that hang up on them. They're grateful for the people that yell at them. Because no matter what, it lets you know you're not the person I need to help. And they're not mad when someone says no. They're grateful that someone said no and not maybe. They're grateful for the simple fact that they have the ability to go to work every day with the sole purpose of helping other people solve problems and help them feel good about who they are. Because really, I don't care what you sell. When somebody buys that product from you, you're helping them feel good about themselves because they've made a decision. They've taken action. They've helped solve that problem in their life. Even if it is you sell a car, well, guess what? You help them solve the problem of I need a car. For financial advisors, you're helping people solve the problem of peace of mind for their future. That is an amazing gift to have. And in fact, I recommend this. Every morning when you wake up, take 30 seconds before you do anything else to list off everything that you are grateful for. And I would suggest that you begin with, I am grateful I woke up today. I do this every day. I'm grateful I woke up. I'm grateful I have these beautiful dogs in my life. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for the country I live in. I'm grateful for the opportunity I have with Always Good to help other people improve their lives and their livelihood for themselves and for their family. And I go through this every morning so that I'm ready. So that I'm ready to just be grateful that everything is there in front of me. Just like Travis said, we are grateful that you choose to spend your time watching us, even if it's for 30 seconds. That's 30 seconds you can never get back that you chose to bring to us. And thank you for that. What about Melanie? I want to hear from you.
I'm grateful grateful I get to listen to you two every single Monday. You always have an audience in me. And that's a really great point, Joe, talking about, where to start and every single morning like that. I think that's a great process to have. But what do you say to those people who are surrounded? Let's be real. I think we all have the environment in our own heads that we can control, but we're all very susceptible to our tribes. And sometimes our tribes really focus on misery. We all know the saying, misery loves company. Travis, tell us your experiences about what that's done for your clients when they've been absorbed in it and how you've helped guide them back out.
Really good point. I think this is a really timely discussion topic. We're all prone to complain. And I've realized that after this election, cycle, and even if we're going through this election cycle still, right, and there's uncertainty, this is a really good time to take up a 21-day complaint-free challenge. There's a guy named Will Bowen, and he brings up this challenge. It's his challenge. I've heard about it for years. I've been following it, trying to do it, and I've been successful at not complaining for 21 days once. So I'm grateful for that. And yeah, yes, thank you. So the idea is, instead of focusing on the complaining, which in and of itself is just basically trying to gripe, complain, whine, get attention, and get a negative stimulus back. By putting something negative out, negative back, right? So the idea is just focus on the good and positive in life. And so he sends out bracelets and tells people, whenever you complain, you have to shift it from one hand to the other. And you really just start to focus on, wow, I can't believe I complain this much. And I complain when I'm around these people, when I'm doing these things. For example, I was doing really good when I did this the very first day, and I asked my clients, you guys, this is time to do this, especially after the election. It's time to stop complaining and just focus on being grateful. And I realized that when I was in the car, that's when I did most of my complaining. I complained about other people that are driving, and I realized I really need to stop this, because I can't, take off my bracelet while I'm driving all the time. Like it's almost impossible. I have to do that when I'm stopped. And it's just not good. So I think as we are focusing on using our time wisely, attracting those clients that we want to bring prosperity into our life, that attitude of gratitude is really focused on not focusing on the negative, the things we can't control, the things that are beyond, any one of our votes or any one of our viewpoints. That we need to really just focus on the things that we can control and the things that we've been blessed with.
Awesome. I love that. And I love that you have a process to call attention to it. I think that really is the first step, isn't it? Is figuring out that there is something that needs your attention. Mr. Always Good loves to say that people will respect what you inspect.
That is very true. It is. People will respect what you inspect. And I am always grateful for the people that inspect the things that should be respected the most. And part of that is that you must inspect your own thoughts. I've heard it said before by multiple people, but you must stand guard at the doorway of your mind. Like, you must be vigilant in making sure that those negative thoughts are not overwhelming and consuming in you. Now, there's a difference between saying, hey, I have this problem and I'm trying to figure out how to solve it. I'm working on a solution right now. That is not a complaint. That's asking help. Hey, Travis, I'm really working through this issue I have. Can you help me with brainstorming this, please? I promise I'm not going to complain. I just need to be able to work through it with somebody else with fresh perspective. That is not a complaint. That's acknowledging something that must be taken care of. And then what that also I like to do is, when I have a problem, if I find myself going in that spiral of maybe I'm trying to complain to me, I stop and I'm like, you know what? I am grateful for the opportunity to solve this problem. It is amazing how often I can get past something simply by telling myself that I'm grateful for it. Right? Fear and gratitude cannot live at the same time in you. It's impossible. They can't. So when you're grateful for the scary things, it helps you move forward with them. And you talked about Travis earlier, being grateful for events. Well, I can say I'm grateful for our live charity concert that we're putting on with Martin Lucas to benefit PEO this Friday. I'm grateful for the opportunity that we can help a charity that is focused on helping women continue their education. And I am grateful to be able to do it with somebody who has raised millions of dollars for charities in the last 4 months through this channel. That is amazing. In fact, there's the link. It's martinlucas.com/PEO. You can donate. You can sign up to watch the YouTube concert that'll be going from 6 to 9. I'm grateful for VentureX Frisco for allowing us to hold the live watch party there, to also sponsor the event for us. Like all these things that I can be grateful for. You know what else you can be grateful for? Grateful for the person that complains to you, because you have an opportunity now to help them break that cycle. Don't commiserate. Help them break that cycle. I mean, negativity is cancer. And if you have somebody around you that will never stop being negative, you've tried and you've tried and you've tried, but their negativity is starting to bleed into you, starting to poison you, I got to tell you, be grateful for the opportunity to cut that cancer out of your life. Be grateful for that. And what do you think about that, Travis? Being grateful for the opportunity to cut out the cancer.
Yeah, and it's difficult because sometimes that cancer is a loved one, a family member, and it may seem contradictory, right? This idea of love and charity and forgiveness, and then being somehow a person who distances oneself from that person. But I think the two can coincide. I think you can love someone from a distance, as I like to say. And it might be that you are the one who needs to be protected. I don't believe in abuse. I don't believe in neglect. I don't believe in those things for any type of relationship. And so if you're being a victim of that and you can tell, and you've tried to set up boundaries, from this complaining abuse, it's abuse. It's mental, emotional abuse, and you don't have to take it. You don't have to be victim to that, and you don't have to play the victim. But you can put up boundaries and ask people to respect you. What I like to do is I'm having a conversation, if it gets heated, whatever, instead of saying, hey, man, you need to stop complaining, or please, would you stop? I just say, you know what, it's great. I'm having a really great time with this 21-day challenge about not complaining. And almost instantly, as everybody's like, oh, man, like, I do that. Like, yeah, I know, we all do it. Like, we're trying to get better. That's the point. And then instead of the conversation being like politics or healthcare or whatever, or religion, it tends to kind of focus in on, yeah, I need to be a better person. Like, tell me more about it. And instead of coming across in a braggart type of way, it's just an excuse. It's just a reason to change the subject and focus on something good. And oftentimes I get myself caught up in it, and instead of complaining, I'll simply stop myself and say, and I'm not going to complain. And it's great, because then other people realize they don't want to complain either. They don't like the feeling. It's not something that brings power. It's not something that brings love. It's not something that brings any other successful, prosperous feelings. It's very much negative and very much not serving anyone else but yourself. Great question. So,
great answers. And I love that you brought up that it is empowering, Travis, because I know people tuning in are probably like, this is some frou-frou stuff, trying to be grateful, attitude of gratitude, Zig Ziglar nonsense. But, and it can be a little freaky, and it can be a little vulnerable to be a positive person, especially when you're facing a difficult environment. And so you brought up a great point. When you indulge in this, you are empowering yourself and empowering others to join you. So I have a big question for Mr. Always Good. What is your favorite way to express gratitude in your sales?
Oh, my favorite way to express gratitude in my sales. I got to tell you, every single time I call anybody, whether or not I'm cold calling you or it's a planned call, after I start the call for a business meeting, I always then say, thank you for taking my call. I start with it, right? Oh, Travis. Hi, Travis. Thank you for taking my call today. Even if it was planned, because it's the right thing for me. That's being true to who I am, and that is I am grateful. I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to change the subject slightly, but it's all going to be on gratitude so you can understand this a little bit. I want to tell a story real quick, ask a question to the viewers. And I'd love to hear even, Travis, your response. And Melanie, I want to hear your response to this one. You're riding a horse across the desert. You've been riding the horse for days. And all of a sudden, the horse drops dead. What do you say to the horse?
Sorry.
Okay. Travis?
You want my honest response?
Yes.
Man, I'm upset. My natural reaction is to say something vulgar to this thing that has given up, right? I mean, that's a natural response in me. That's my natural animal brain. But I think, if I had my bracelet on and I was remembering to keep that streak, I'd be like, thank you for giving your life to helping me along this journey. I mean, that would be the grateful way to do it.
That would be. And I remember the first time I was asked this question in a psychology class.
Yeah.
And they were asking everybody, and it came to me, and I said, thank you. And everyone was like, wait, there were people that were trying to argue. Why would you say thank you? You're not done with the journey. The horse just died. I'm like, the horse, like you said, gave its life for me.
Yeah.
So I should be grateful. It's like you get into a car accident, and the first thing you're going to do is be mad. Oh my God, somebody hit me. But if you were just to stop for a second and be like, man, I am so grateful nobody is hurt.
Yeah.
Because that's the important part. The car's replaceable.
Yeah.
The person's not. So it's shifting that focus. And it's the same thing of shifting focus. No matter what happens in life, happens for you, never to you. Being grateful that you have the opportunity to fail, succeed, try again, fail, whatever, and just keep going. Be grateful for the ebb and flow. Be grateful when two salespeople wake up in the morning, they're outside salespeople, and it's raining. One of them goes, "Oh, it's raining. No one's going to buy anything. I'm going back to bed." The other one wakes up and goes, "Oh man, it's raining. I'm so happy because most people aren't going to be working. Guess what? I'm going to go make some sales today." It's all about being grateful for everything.
Yeah.
Don't complain. Complaining does nothing for anyone. And like you were saying, Travis, it helps you for a moment feel like, oh, I got that negative response back from somebody else. See, they're like me too. And then 5 seconds after that, you're going to be like, oh, man, did I really just complain that much? Was I really being that person? Was I being a negative Nelly? No one wants to be that person.
No.
And I tell you, if you do it enough, you get people enough to know that complaining around you is a no-go. Like Travis said, just change the subject, or me, I'll be like, hey, you know what? I understand you got a problem going on. Let's help find a solution to it. Change it in every way you can. Eventually, they will completely stop. They will avoid you like you're the plague, because you're not going to give them the response they want, that feedback they want. Because for a lot of people, they drive pleasure in commiserating pain.
Right.
So if you can change it, you're going to be able to get them to just stay away from you. What about you?
Yeah, and I think this goes back to that relationship idea. Do we shun people? Because I see this a lot on social media right now. This is a big thing of like, get rid of the negative people in your life. I'm a Christian, and I know you guys are too. That doesn't fly with me 100%. And Thanksgiving, this whole idea about being grateful, that is a Christian holiday. The Puritans came to America. They were grateful for God that gave them prosperity. So every morning when I wake up, I pray and I am grateful. I start off my day with gratitude every single day. I end the day with gratitude on my knees every single day. Now, I'm not 100% perfect at that, but I try. But I think the idea is that we're not, because we start to change and we take on this new discipleship of I'm not going to complain anymore. We can be haughty in our own gratitude or anything that we're doing and push people out of our life that, maybe we can be an influence on. I think it really comes down to what are those boundaries? And you nailed it. Like if your responses are consistently going back to helping people reframe or rethink about their negativity, and they're looking for an out to get that negativity too, they're going to stop calling you, and they're going to stop unless their mind starts to change. And I'm not saying that's the goal. The goal isn't to try and force people into a certain behavior, but the goal is to become a better person. And as you become better, you want to surround yourself with those types of people most of the time. But I go back to this Christian ideal. When Christ was on the earth, I know we don't mix a lot of religion in this all the time, but I am here. But when Christ was on the earth, he spent most of his time with people that others in society were like, why are you with tax collectors? Why are you with sinners? Why are you with these people? And almost to say, complaining to Christ, why aren't you with us? We're the religious elite. Why are you doing that? So I can see it on one hand of not spending time with those who are the whiners, complainers, the gripers, right? But at the same time, so am I. And I want to become better. But then how can I influence others to do the same? Can I invite them in? Yes. And I think that's the clue. And I think that's the boundary that you started to be that example, and that creates that dissonance. But I think you can also say, hey, man, I've got a bracelet. Why don't you join me on the challenge? I'd love to have you with me. And I think that is the right approach, at least that I've come to in my mind, versus the only surround yourself with amazing people and kick everybody else off the boat. That's not a grateful attitude, right? That's killing the horse.
I know exactly what you're saying there. I agree. I agree. There is a point where if you're literally like chastising other people because they're negative, and you're truly being negative to them in your approach to try and get them to be grateful or to change their mindset or to reframe to be solution focused, you're literally doing the same thing. And I'm not misusing the word literally here. You're literally doing the same thing. You just don't want to call it that. Because we are beautiful. Human beings are amazing at being able to turn anything in our mind and justify it for whatever we want to. Like, we're great at it. It's one of the superpowers of humanity, but it's also probably one of the biggest weaknesses we have as human beings, is that we can justify almost anything. And so it is about changing that, reframing it. But at the same time, there comes a point when you must be grateful for the fact that you gave it your all and they're not ready. And that's when you move on, not out of hate, not out of anger, but out of love. I love you. Like you said, you can love from afar, love from a distance. It's like, I love every human being on this planet without exception. I mean that in every way, but I'm not going to go hang out with murderers and rapists,
right,
or people who lie, cheat, and steal in order to get ahead in life. I'm not going to. I love them as a person, as a human being. I don't maybe not love who they are behaviorally or what they do, their ethics, those things, but I still love them. But at the same time, I'm not going to complain about it. You know, I saw a post. It was a post on LinkedIn, and the post was shared by a page devoted to highlighting women who have done amazing things. And the post was, here's the new vice president of the United States of America, the first African-American female vice president, first Asian descent female vice president, first female vice president. That is all it said. Simply that. Somebody posted on there. This post doesn't belong on this platform. Obviously, they didn't vote for the people that won. I didn't either. I mean, I voted for me, actually. In case anyone was wondering, I voted for Joe Gazel and Melanie Mogazel for president and vice president.
You were in the ballot, man. I would have totally voted for you.
Right? I mean, it's hard to spell my last name, though. That's the bad part. But so with that in mind, I responded back and said, I respectfully disagree. This post is highlighting the accomplishments of a woman who has done something no other woman has in history. And nothing about this post is political, nor did it bring up any party lines. So there you go. I'm helping reframe. I tell them I respectfully disagree. And there was no hatred there. There was no vitriol. I didn't use words that were inflammatory. I just pointed out the fact that this post belongs here because it is highlighting something that all of us, regardless of who you voted for, should be proud of. The fact that we have our first female vice president.
And I think regardless of what the topic is, especially when it's political, like there's all of a sudden people have the internal barometer that goes off saying, I'm allowed to complain, whine, gripe, kvetch, however you want to say it, because it's political. We have in this country, in the United States of America, the opportunity to vote. I don't see anywhere in the Constitution that says you have the right to complain about every single thing the government has ever done, ever.
I mean, you have the right to do it. You do. You have the freedom of speech in this country. You have the right, but do you really want to exercise that right?
But do you want to take it in that direction Because in my opinion, when I vote, that's a positive thing, right? I didn't get on the ballot and be like, I hate all these things about the other candidates. I am saying with my vote, this is the person I want to represent me. And we live in a representational type of government. It's not a pure democracy. The founders didn't set it up that way. And for good reason. Those all failed. But they found a constitutional republic that we can represent or have people that represent us. Therefore, they're always going to fail because, Joe, we can vote for the same person, but that person is not going to do what you want him or her to do 100% of the time. Same here. It won't work that way. But in 4 years, 2 years, 6 years, whatever the length is, I can vote for somebody else. And that's a positive thing. Yet politics have turned, for the majority of times, into mudslinging, to throw out all of your values, Christian values, whatever, and bash on the character of another person and assassinate them. Instead of discussing facts. We no longer are able to discuss facts a lot of times about politics because of the emotional nature and because people just consistently complain. So there's a fine line between saying, here are the facts, like here's Biden's tax plan, here's Trump's tax plan, and discuss the facts versus what kind of a sleazeball Trump is and what kind of a sleazeball Biden is, or vice versa, or the third party. That's where we've come to. And so I think in the mind of Americans, we think, right of freedom of speech, but where does that line in? And actually, if we had an attorney on here, we could talk about slander and libel and where that gets you, because we have freedom of speech to a point that once it defames character and says negative about them and causes them to lose business or propriety in society, then that can be actually sued against. So anyway, some thoughts around that idea. I didn't expect to go this direction, but
but I'm grateful we went this way. Let's see if we have anything else from Melanie.
Well, it sounds like what you guys had hit on but haven't emphasized is how much gratitude leads you to an attitude of being humble. Travis, you mentioned it. You begin and end your days on your knees. And being humble, putting yourself in a position, especially one of any kind of vulnerability, gives you a perspective that allows real growth. So what we're talking about when it comes to your time, when it comes to your sales, when it comes to your career, your attitude goes all the way down to the root and allows you the perspective for real growth.
Yeah.
Self today. 2 minutes, man.
You buzzed your own self, Melanie. Well, to wrap up a little bit, and then Joe, I'll let you have the last word on this one. We're grateful you guys have been following us. We're grateful for this freedom of speech, to be able to go live on all these social media channels and be able to get our ideas out there. It's been thrilling for us. And, we're actually going to take a step back for a moment, and we're going to take a pause on the Time is Money show just in general. And with the holidays coming up, we're grateful that you guys have been following us and being a great audience. And we look forward to future endeavors. But I would say that this humility factor, what you brought up, Melanie, is so important, because that is what truly shapes our character and allows us to grow through challenges. What Joe and I first started talking about is, how do we deal with this challenge? And maybe, Joe, this show has been for us. Like, we have learned a lot as we've exchanged ideas over the last few months and beginning this idea together. It's been great that we've been able to then learn from the challenges and grow and become better people in the year of 2020. We'll never forget this year. It's a pandemic year, but it didn't break us. I think it's allowed us to grow from these challenges, to be humble, be grateful, and be able to then help other people. So thank you, and thanks for being a part of it.
Absolutely. I can second all of that 100%. The other thing is, as we talked about it is that you do want to surround yourself with people who are going to help raise you up in life, not pull you back down. And sometimes that does mean that you have to say goodbye to consistently being around some of the people you have consistently been around now. But remember that success is something that you attract to you because you've become the person that's worthy of that. You know, Vince Lombardi said that in order to win, you must first deserve victory. And you deserve that by putting in the work, by putting in the time, paying the price, helping reframe your mind, and then helping reframe other minds so that you can attract those people around you, so that the gratitude you have is shared exponentially above and beyond, which is one of the beautiful things about having platforms like this, where any human being on the planet that has a phone and an internet connection can go live and speak to 1 billion plus people potentially in one swoop. It has been a pleasure to be part of this. I've been so grateful to have known you, to be involved in this. And we're still figuring out how we're going to continue to add more value to the people we work with each other, and bring more of this attitude of gratitude to everybody. And I want to let Melanie sign us off with one last word of wisdom.
Thank you, all of those victorious people who have spent their time with us, because we all know
Time is money.
Thanks,
Have a
everybody.
great holiday, everybody.
Thanks, Melanie.